Hi, I'm Doug Oster from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Welcome to Digging with Doug. We've got a great summer rainy day today, and actually we're in between the hard rain, so we've got to get this done. Today we're going to talk about dealing with four-legged pests, but before we do that, I want to show you a couple things. The perennial beds that we worked on a couple weeks ago, if you look down here, this one, it just had the compost put on it, and look at the weeds already are coming up. There's no newspaper over this, so that's going to be the next step here. But if you look over here, where we use the newspaper, no weeds. And now today I want to show you the stuff that we planted last week by seed. It's all come up, so let's go take a look. Isn't this a great rain? We as gardeners, we look at rain a little bit differently than everybody else, and it's just what the doctor ordered. And that's the reason that these beans that we planted last week have come up. In fact, everything we planted from seed last week has already come up, which is fantastic. That's why you want to keep planting. When you plant seeds in this warm weather, they germinate very quickly. It's just nice to see things like lettuce sprouting up this time of the year. That's going to be in great shape when the tomatoes are ready. But now we've got to talk about four-legged pests. And the number one thing to keep them out is a fence, just like this one over here. Well, the first order of business is some kind of fence to prevent four-legged pests. In this area here, we've got at least 22 deer in the herd that we've seen in the winter. And even though they could easily jump this picket fence, they don't like to jump into enclosed places. If they did, that's why I kept these 4x4s tall. It's a funny thing, my father-in-law says this looks like a cemetery, but I'll take it. I love this deer fencing. It's just made out of a plastic netting. I've been using it for 10 years now. And I've got some up in the woods there to protect some fruit trees. And I thought it was going to be really ugly, but actually it becomes invisible. You have to actually put a white streamer on it to let the deer know that it's here. And it's inexpensive. You can buy it in 100-foot rolls. And it's been very effective to stop the deer from rubbing those fruit trees up there. But groundhogs are going to be able to get either over this fence or under it. I've got a little bit of chicken wire here down below to stop the rabbits, but the groundhogs are another story. And over here I've got something that works really good for groundhogs. Well, here's one way to deal with groundhogs. This is called a have-a-heart trap. And basically I bait it with apples and peanut butter and only leave it open during the day because that's when groundhogs feed. You don't want to leave it all night because you'll get raccoons, you'll get possums, and then possibly you get a skunk in there, which you don't want. When I get that groundhog in there, I take it somewhere way out in the woods and let it go. But I don't have the heart to kill it. You could call animal control. Maybe they'll take it for you. These traps, you can rent them. I know True Value Hardware rents them and other places. And then also you can call animal control and see if they'll give you a trap to get a nuisance animal. The other thing that I use are deterrents like this, and I love this brand. They make a groundhog stopper, deer stopper, a cat stopper, rabbit stopper, the squirrel stopper. When you spray this around your garden and on your plants, it deters the pests, and it's another technique you can use. When we're talking about deer, we want to grow plants that they don't prefer, and that's a hard thing to find what they don't prefer because every herd eats differently. So you need to find out from your friends and neighbors what the deer aren't eating and then plant that. And there's a lot of lists out there about deer-resistant plants that you can use as a tool. For a list of deer-resistant plants, or to ask questions about gardening, or about Digging with Doug, or to give me a suggestion for Digging with Doug, log on to www.post-gazette.com/homes and click on the Gardening Forum button. Next week, we're going back to those perennial beds, and we're going to start planting those up. I've got lots of emails from people who want to see where the plants are going to go and how it's going to look. Till then, we've got to get out of this rain. Pam behind the camera is going to get soaked, so we'll see you next week. Oh, what a nice rain. This is going to be perfect for the garden. Especially all that stuff that just got planted.